This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
You realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility.
We're a fantastic team. We know we are, and we hope to, over time, try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
Today is April 6, 2023. It is 2:44 p.m. So I have a little bit of time, and I thought, let me get this initial video out. Whenever I have time, I'll record. So this is the first video for this channel. Well, I should say second video, because I did like an introduction in terms of what this channel will be focusing on, more in terms of background of Harry and Meghan kind of thing, and things that they have said in the past. So I decided to create this channel to focus mostly on their charitable work. I don't know which direction I'm gonna go with it, but it will be definitely focused on their charitable work. So I thought, since I have the time, let me go over their website to give a basic idea of where they're coming from. And I was looking at their website before I started recording. One of the things I was thinking of doing was to highlight each of these organizations they have helped or they're part of. Then I said, let me just go over their webpage and then go over the impact report. And then maybe another video, I'll do a review of the organization they have helped. But I think the impact report will be more important, because impact report provides some sort of transparency and the kind of work that they've done and accountability of the company. All right. So it's sort of, help show people things that they have done, their commitment to the work that they're doing. In a broader view, the impact report just show people what they have done with the money that they receive. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is Archewell Foundation, and I am on the Archewell Foundation. They have the Archewell production. I will not be covering Archewell production unless it highlights some sort of a thing that they've done with their charity, but I don't think I will be doing that on this channel. Most likely on my other two channels, PYTE or APTS. Okay, and Archewell Audio as well. But this one, I want to focus on their charitable work. Okay, so let's get started. Archewell Foundation. At the Archewell Foundation, our core purpose is quite simply to do good. We meet the moment by showing up, taking action, and using our unparalleled spotlight to uplift and unite communities, both local, global, online, and offline. We believe that philanthropic work is more than a handout, it's a hand held. To activate this belief, we independently create dynamic and impactful programming to serve communities in need. We also partner with key organizations and leaders to identify immediate needs, build meaningful initiatives, and drive long-term change. Baked into all that we do is core belief that our collective well-being and mental health are paramount. Our three main pillars of focus are to build a better world online, to restore trust and information, and above all, to uplift communities. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna go over their impact report. So do I have it open? No, I don't. So because I was looking at it a few minutes ago. So this is the impact report, I believe 2020 to 2022. Okay, so let's go over it. I'll record as much as I can, and then maybe another time I'll record the rest. So I'll use as much time that I can to cover it. Okay, so Archewell Foundation, a letter from our co-executive director at the Archewell Foundation. Our core purpose is quite simply to do good. We meet the moment by showing up, taking action, and using our unparalleled spotlight to uplift and unite communities, both local and global, online and offline. So which is part of what was in their website. Okay, so let's see here. We believe that philanthropic work is more than a handout. It's a handheld to activate this belief. Okay, so I don't think I want to read this because it sounds the same thing as what I just read on their website. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this. Okay, so there's table of content. 4 by the numbers, 6 responding to humanitarian crisis, uplifting women, number 10, fostering community, building a better online world, restoring trust and information, mental health, looking ahead. Okay, so let's see here. By the numbers. At the Archewell Foundation, AWF, we know making an impact is about so much more than numbers on the page. We hold ourselves to the highest standard when it comes to measuring our work in the world. Here is a snapshot of our impact by numbers. Okay, 12.66 million COVID-19 vaccine produced for the global population through our partnership with Global Citizen. If you go on my PYTE channel, I think I did highlight some stuff regarding Global Citizen. Okay, 174,497 Afghan and Ukrainian welcome to the US. This include 74,606 Afghan allies resettled through Operation Allies welcome, and 99,981 Ukrainian paroled into the US under Uniting for Ukraine with Welcome US. Okay, 50,000 meals served through our partners with World Central Kitchen. Occasionally, I share some of the things that World Central Kitchen have done on PYTE, and I believe I did as well on Archewell Sussex.
This is Felix for World Central Kitchen reporting from Soufriere Primary School in the Caribbean island of Dominica. The school you can see behind me was devastated by Hurricane Maria back in 2017, and in fact it took a whole 2 years before pupils were allowed back on site. I'm now here with my colleague Jason to announce the completion of the first of our community relief kitchens. The kitchen will be used primarily to feed the needs of the 67 pupils here at the school, but will also be offering culinary training to the wider community when the school's not in session. We've been able to design the kitchen in such a way that it's resilient to future disasters and will be activated as a service kitchen to meet those needs if it arises. We really like to extend our thanks firstly to ResDM, the local partner on the ground here, and also to Megan and Harry's Archewell Foundation, whose support have helped the project become possible.
6,468 individuals rescued from Afghanistan through our partnership with Human First Coalition. 3,673 individual access our resource guide embracing positive masculinity with eCumundo. 13 academic fellow addressing society's most urgent concerns surrounding social media at the Institute for Rebooting Social Media at Harvard University. Okay, and 1. So this one I also highlighted on either I think on PYTE and Archewell Sussex when I first heard about it. Okay, Play Space built foster community and healing in Uvalde, Texas. Okay, so they did one of that, and I think they partnered with another company. Is it Kaboom or something like that? Okay, so that's that. Responding to humanitarian crisis. Okay, responding to humanitarian crisis at the Archewell Foundation, our approach to humanitarianism is rooted in addressing both the immediate and long-term needs of communities around the globe. While no two communities are the same, we often strive the same thing: safety, security, and health for ourselves and our loved ones. Since our founding, the world has faced numerous generational humanitarian crises. In response, we have invested in organizations supporting families in need and critical priorities like global vaccine equity, refugee relocation, and the protection of people during conflict. Okay, so one thing many of us need to take into consideration: what Harry and Meghan Archewell, okay, let me make sure I said the name of the organization, Archewell is doing, they become like a bridge, and it's a bridge that connect people. So they have the spotlight, they know a lot of people, so when they communicate with other people who either at need or people who already who have the resources to help, but they don't know where to put their resources in. So Archewell become the middleman. They know who they could connect certain people with. So when they know an organization need help and they know someone who could help them, so they make that bridge. Okay, so I think there's one video on PYTE when I'm always speculating, giving my humble opinion on things. When I've heard about their organization was about to open and the idea they had behind their organization, and I did a video implementing what I think Archewell will be, and I think I was pretty close. I didn't hit everything, but I was pretty close. Okay, so let's continue. Soon after COVID-19 pandemic hit, Archewell Foundation took a lead role in supporting equitable access to COVID-19 vaccine, tests, and treatment around the world, with a strong focus on vaccine access. As part of this, let me make sure I don't lose the line. As part of this work, we invest in People's Vaccine Alliance, a coalition of over 100 organizations, health experts, economists, head of state, faith leaders, activists working to ensure everyone across the world has access to COVID-19 vaccine, tests, and treatment. Our contribution went toward advocacy campaign for fair vaccine access in low and middle income countries supported by the alliance, including Senegal, Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, DRC, South Africa, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, UK, the Netherlands, and the US, where outreach continues, but we didn't stop there. In partnership with Global Citizen, an international education and advocacy organization working to catalyze the movement to end extreme poverty and promote social justice, Archewell Foundation helped lead a worldwide effort equitable distribute COVID-19 vaccine to the global community. As I'm reading this, one thing that crossed my mind is that it seems like the time that the Sussexes left the UK, for maybe it was meant to be. It was the perfect time for them to leave, because as soon as they left and they were trying to find, their feet on the ground, COVID-19 hit. And you could hear it from their own to mouth and Harry and Meghan docu-series on Netflix. So what I'm realizing here, it was the perfect time for them in a sense, but unfortunately a lot of people died. They became the middleman to help make the vaccine accessible. Because if they were in the UK under the royal family or the institution umbrella, I don't think they'll be able to do that. So them being branching out, they were able to do that. Okay, so that crossed my mind. So everything works out well, and a lot, I think, because of their move, to find their own freedom, they have helped many people. They have helped many save a lot of lives, okay, with that COVID-19 vaccine thing. Okay, so let's continue. That crossed my mind. I thought I answered it. Okay, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex serve as campaign chair of Global Citizen Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world, with mobilized hundreds of millions in funds for the ACT Accelerator and COVAX, the vaccine sharing program, co-led by the World Health Organization. Through our combined work, the partnership has focused on achieving vaccine equity, supporting vaccine dose sharing, reduce COVID-19 misinformation, and improving public-private collaboration. Our advocacy, which helped garner public support as well as the support of private companies, helped procure 12.66 million COVID-19 vaccine doses globally. Okay, I cover the, I believe there's two of them. One was well, the one in California, I didn't really cover it that much, but whatever tweets that were shared on social media, I was able to share that on my video, and also the one that was in New York. Okay, so I cover the two Vax Live kind of thing that they had.
Thank you, Nomzamo. Hello and good evening, global citizens. Look at all of us here, 60,000 strong, together in New York City. Are we prepared to do what's necessary to end this pandemic?
Hi, everybody. It is so good to be back here with all of you. Look, we know that it feels like this pandemic has been going on forever. We get it. It is a lot. And some people are just over it. But if everyone's over it, it's never going to be over. There's so much that we can do today, now, that can get us closer to ending this pandemic. And that's why we're all here. We're able to be here tonight because the most brilliant scientists, researchers, frontline workers, and selfless public health leaders have risked their lives to protect our global community. They are our humanitarian heroes.
Since this pandemic began, we've been talking to the experts about how we can do our part. This week, we sat with independent global health leaders to further understand how we get closer to vaccine equity and ending this health crisis. But we're battling more than the virus alone. This is a battle of misinformation, bureaucracy, lack of transparency, and
Okay, in 2021, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex co-chair Global Citizen Vax Live campaign, which mobilized over 26 million COVID-19 vaccine doses and raised $302 million for vaccine equity. That same year, they joined us on stage at the Global Citizen Festival on the Great Lawn of Central Park, to continue their important work with us to ensure everyone everywhere has equal access to vaccine. As a result of this work, over 60 million COVID-19 vaccines were committed as part of the campaign. The Archewell Foundation unwavering commitment to social change and work to protect and advance equity, justice, and human rights is truly inspiring. You, Evan, CEO of Global Citizen. Okay, so let's continue. Right, okay, hopefully I could see those. Okay, while the world started to open back up, new crises unfolded in places like Afghanistan and Ukraine. As millions became refugees, Archewell Foundation tapped into a global network of organizations to support the immediate and long-term needs of families. In particular, we watch as a refugee crisis unfold in Afghanistan and Ukraine, and we step up to meet the moment. Our grant to Human First Coalition, okay, so this is where they become the bridge. Okay, so they don't need to be, when I said they, I mean Archewell Foundation, they don't need to be physically there. So there is an organization who's already doing those type of work. So instead of them trying to recreate what's already out there, they find someone who's doing something to help where they don't need to start from scratch. So what they do, in order for every organization, every charities to function, they need money. So what they did, Archewell provide help wherever they can. Okay, our grant, okay, to Human First Coalition helped move nearly 8,000 individuals out of Afghanistan, including support with documentation and information collection to ensure safe passage and transportation. Okay, that's very important. When you look at what some of the politician that's going on in the UK, if you watch my other channel, you know, I sometimes touch those issues. I try not to, lately I try not to go too deep into the political aspect of these things, but I do talk about them. Okay, so if you watch my channel, you should have a basic idea. Okay, not in full detail, but basic. Okay, quote, the Archewell Foundation played an enormous role, in fact, the most critical one, in helping Human First to grow in 2021-2022. We are a young organization formed in the midst of a crisis and dealing with many ongoing crises this year. After the initial media blitz on the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan, and most especially with the invasion of Ukraine, donors quickly lost interest in Afghanistan. But Archewell has been there for us. We were able to provide humanitarian aid in a various form to uphold of 10,000 individuals in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Most especially in the 4 months after receiving the grant, we supported all living expenses for approximately 1,000 at-risk Afghans living in safe houses that we operate in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Safi, okay, sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Safi Roth, co-founder of Human First Coalition. As I'm reading this, one of the things that I'm thinking about is this is where the passion is, where a human being could easily, don't worry about whatever is happening around the world, okay, what Afghans are going through, not their problem. They could easily sit in their home, watch TV, do whatever it is, go play golf, but with the passion, knowing that there are a group of people who need their help. Their personal comfort is not a thing for them. What gives them comfort is to make sure another human being is experience some sort of a basic life of humanity. Okay, safety. What will I say? I think Archewell said it at the beginning. I read it at the beginning, where safety, comfort, you know, this kind of thing. Another group of human being is having that, is enjoying it. Okay, so some basic life, you know, people should enjoy. Okay, I hope I make sense with that. But let's continue. After the Duke and Duchess of Sussex visited a U.S. military base temporarily housing families in need, Archewell Foundation helped Team Rubicon and its more than 2,000 volunteers serve nearly 4,000 individuals through home move ends, essential items, and vital care. Our donation enabled Team Rubicon to extend and expand their work, directly supporting multiple operation sites across several new states and helping 853 families move into new homes. Okay, let's see if I could see that. Welcome refugees. We wanted to ensure those fleeing were met with a warm welcome. Archewell Foundation provided a grant to welcome that US in support of their work mobilizing a refugee response and to provide direct assistance to agencies working to properly welcome and resettle these families as the largest coalition in evacuee resettlement history. Welcome.US, okay, I didn't even know this exists, okay. Welcome.US has spent the past year supporting our new Afghan neighbors as well as those fleeing conflict in Ukraine, welcoming a total of 174,497 people here in the US. My goodness, this is what war causes. Sometimes this is what I've said in my other channels. Okay, when you see those people are fleeing, people need to ask, what are they fleeing from, and who's causing those conflicts in their homeland to prevent them to live a normal life? My goodness. Okay, so let's continue. By the end of 2021, 2.6 million Afghan nationals were displaced and sought refuge in 98 countries around the world, including the United States. 80% were women and children. We are extremely grateful for the Archewell Foundation generous contribution toward Team Rubicon's Afghan resettlement program. We were able to provide tangible, immediate benefits through service like donating goods, management, arrival site management, and housing, as well as translation services and logistics support. Archewell Foundation support fueled our commitment to supporting vulnerable people and our ability to support Afghan family, nimbly and effectively at various stages of their transition. Wow, that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. And as I'm reading this, the other thing that came to mind is that every countries have government. The government was supposed to be there to somewhat give that boundary, okay, where each and every individual's supposed to follow a rules of law and to respect one another, but and to implement it. It's almost like a police, not really a police, but to make sure we follow it and then to be fair to everyone. But instead, when you look at conflicts that's happening around the globe, these people we entrust, we decided to give part of our freedom for the common good, okay, where let's say, okay, you cannot run around and do whatever you want, so there has to be some sort of a boundary where you know you're not supposed to do this and the other person know it's not supposed to do the same thing. So that's where the boundary is, where we respect one another. But when we see certain government, instead of not only for them to follow it, implement the rule of law, but they're creating chaos. They're creating chaos, preventing people from living a normal life. I don't know, that crossed my mind. I share it. But let's continue. When war broke out in Ukraine, we felt the urgency and responsibility to assist with the response. To support those fleeing, Archewell Foundation provided critical funding to HIAS, International Jewish Humanitarian Organization. Is that what I'm... Okay, it's very small and I hope I could... Okay. International Jewish Humanitarian organization that provides vital service to refugees and asylum seekers in more than 20 countries. Our assistance also helped in the effort to expand humanitarian effort across Ukraine, Poland, Moldova, and Romania, as well as increase resources for housing, food, and transportation for the most vulnerable, especially women and girls. HIAS also directed its emergency response resources to Right to Protection, a longtime Ukrainian partner specializing in legal assistance and advocating for refugees, asylum seekers, and stateless persons who have been forced out of their communities and homeland. Wow, stateless. Okay, when it as I said that, I'm like, I better knock on wood, none of this ever happened to any of my families or myself. Okay, and when it comes to ensuring the safety of those who were not able to leave, we turn to our partners at the Halo Trust. Okay, some of these organizations I highlight on PYTE at my intro. Halo Trust. The Halo Trust employs and trains men and women from war-torn communities throughout the world to remove landmine and dangerous explosives, making land safe and available for farming, grazing, transit, commerce, and play. As the world's largest humanitarian landmine clearance charity, Halo also educates families and children about the risk of unexploded ordnance. As conflict erupted in Ukraine, Archewell Foundation funded Halo and its expanded mission to deliver medical supplies and assistance, provide shelter to families fleeing the violence, and distribute risk education messages in person and on social media. As a result, Halo has received 373 explosive ordnance risk education EORE sessions training more than 10,000 people how to recognize, avoid, and report lethal hazard, and has helped evacuate an estimated 300 people from Kramatorsk, okay, I hope I pronounce it right, and neighboring communities. This part is very small, okay, that's regarding aid to Nigeria. Okay, let me make the best of it. I'll try to enlarge it when I'm editing so you could see it. Okay, most recently, in response to catastrophic flooding in Nigeria, which displaced over 1 million people, destroyed homes and farmland, and took the lives of hundreds, the Archewell Foundation worked to urgently meet this climate disaster and humanitarian crisis, facilitate rapid community donation to save the children, and UNICEF, two vital organizations providing assistance and medical support to those affected by the flood. UNICEF is actively supporting 2.6 million children who have been affected by the flood in the areas of health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, children protection, education, nutrition, and cash transfer assistance. The Archewell Foundation funds are helping support UNICEF goals of treating 712,800 children with severe acute malnutrition, providing 1.2 million people with clean and accessible water, reaching 828,600 children with education, and providing 304,000 children and caregivers with mental health support. That's a lot of numbers. That is a lot of numbers when it comes to human being. Archewell is doing this thing. Okay, the thing is that where there is a problem, there are other organizations that's already underground doing the work. So what Archewell does, find who are those organizations and then provide them wherever, give them a helping hand, typically with funds, because those organizations need money to operate. Those people who's doing the work or whatever, and the goods and services that they provide, they need money.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.